Hey everybody, I've been cooking for the unhoused down at Clark Park, and I was taking a journey back through my Walk for the World last night going back through it over my mind, because I know that a lot of stuff happens in those and I really need to take time and pay attention. And something that I kept thinking about was the passion thing. Like, I can't tell you how many people have asked me where I got my passion, where I couldn't give up, how did I go through all that and not give up. And it was my teachers, especially Mrs. Kermode and Mrs. Fowler. And Mrs. Kermode used to lie to my mom and say that I had to stay after school to help her because she knew something was wrong. She was my kindergarten teacher. And I started getting, other than loved physically, by my parents at 4, and I met her at 5.5, I think 6 maybe, and she knew something was wrong. And I don't remember everything she used to say to me after school. We'd pound erasers or whatever we had to do. She'd keep me there as long as she could, and I just remembered that. She saved my life, man. And then Mrs. Fowler, I remember one time her sitting me on her lap, and she asked me, "Honey, you can tell me anything." She said, "Are you okay at home?" And I knew I wasn't, but I had that doubt because they were my parents, and it was how do I explain it? When you're that young, parents are like gods to you, they're everything. They are supposed to be everything to you and do everything for you and teach you how to be. And I remember laying in my bed thinking and actually being, and I remember some soothing voice. I remember staring at somebody surfaced this the other day. They said when they used a drop of my oil, it brought back her papa. And she asked me, she saw my medicine bag, and she asked me if I lived in Yukon. I said no. And she said Texas. I said no. And she said that medicine bag. And she said the oil makes me want to hold my wrists together, because she had put a drop on her wrist, and so she held her wrist, and then she saw the bag, and she said it reminds me of my papa. And we started talking, and she said that she has these really old gloves from old skin. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that my message about that came up so powerfully is that if it weren't for my teachers back then, I don't know where I'd be right now. Seriously, So I always learned to listen to my teachers, because they saved my life, and they gave me a life worth living, and they gave me something to believe in. And because of my teachers, I've always believed in myself. I've always believed that I would become something. I always believed I was something, no matter what anybody said. And that's one thing that some people have always said about me, like, how can you be how can you be so loving and giving when all that stuff has happened to you? But, Reverend Beckwith taught me that life happens for me. And I was just thinking about what just happened. I don't want to get into details right now because I'm still blown away. I'm trying to get my new son from Africa, and this computer guy from Africa is going to help me, and he's set up in my marketing account, and he's helping Abaska get food, and he has kids that need help, and he's going to meet me at the community sustainability education meeting next week. And it was just amazing. When Dr. Joe talks about the universe organizes it so perfectly if you just let go. And that's exactly what I did last night. And that guy, he did and said exactly how I do and say. He said he saw my videos, I guess. I don't even know. I'm guessing. And he messaged me and he said, I would really appreciate if you'd help me on my spiritual journey. I keep thinking of my dad in my dreams. And I knew right then that I really, like, I would go to the ends of, I didn't even know where he was, like, but that approach, you know, and that's a message to those thousands of people that keep putting, follow me, I'll follow you. Well, what do you have to offer? How can you be of value? That guy, man, he said, I'd like you to help me on my spiritual journey. Man, I would have walked over to Africa to help him, you know. Anyway, I was cooking and I've put together a witch's brew of a whole different kind. I have the most magical salad dressing for this slaw I'm taking to these unhoused kids. I've got raw American ginseng that is amazing. I've never seen this healthy of a ginseng before. I'm so excited to see what happens. I'm going to keep going down there and see what happens, because this dressing has like 20 different medicinal. I think it's going to be tight. I didn't even taste it. I just know it'll help. And it has some raw rosemary and mint. I mean, it's got everything that I could think of. And that's the thing, like, you know, when you're connected like that, you don't think, you just do, you be, and you are spirit. And that's the thing that what Reverend Beckwith talks about, is when you're connected like that, you are spirit. Spirit is through you. It's not from you. And like, it's interesting. Sometimes I feel like I'm looking down, but like I'm not. I don't know how to explain it. It's like I'm allowing somebody to be my eyes. Sometimes, like, there's no words. But anyway, thanks.